What's up everyone, Sean Count Blaggerth here today with an album review, this time of the 1988 Earache Records release of the Reek Putrefaction by Carcass. If you are not familiar with Carcass, they are a death metal band hailing from the UK, started off as death grind slash gore grind. They became death metal later on, then they started incorporate melodic death metal, and then they eventually became death and roll. And now I have no clue what they play because I have not heard anything off the new album, which is coming out, which is actually why I'm doing this discography review, to celebrate the fact that my favorite death metal band, Carcass, has returned. And I cannot wait to hear Surgical Steel. With that said, let's dive into the classic debut album. The Reek Putrefaction is very much a death grind album. There's a lot of death metal in it, a lot of grindcore. It's just a very nasty, disgusting, filthy, vile, disturbing slab of music that some people could even question to be music, because it's just a giant wall of dirty, disgusting noise being thrown right directly in your face. And to me, it's just amazing. One of the things that is a turnoff to a lot of people about this album is the absolutely muddy production. There's no amount of remixing and remastering that can save this album in that department. But for me, that adds to the already disturbing atmosphere that the artwork creates, which is real autopsy photographs collaged together. And I will not be showing the first part of this digipack because it does show a lot of close-up pictures, but throughout the entire artwork of this is a very disturbing photographs, and that adds to the atmosphere that the music is already creating. And for me personally, the atmosphere is like that of watching someone die, or after death seeing them mutilated. For me, it's actually a pretty incredible thing to capture such a dark side of human nature in an audio form like this. To me, that's absolutely spectacular. The only other bands that have come close to that would be Autopsy and Mortician and Necrophagia, at least in my book. Most other bands, they just are straight up brutal death metal. It doesn't provide that much of a dirty, dark, overbearing atmosphere like this music creates, and the muddy production only adds to that atmosphere. So in a way, they made the really bad production work for them. Guitar-wise, it's just blistering fast. It's hard to tell what's going on, especially with the bass being so overbearingly loud. Every once in a while, a quick solo, if you blink you'll miss it, solo just comes in, and it's very high-pitched, it's very shrill, it's just loaded with effects, and it's just piercing. And for me, that's really cool to hear. This is definitely not my favorite Carcass album, because I can't listen to it that often, but when I do, it hits the spot just right. In the drum department, it's very sloppy, but once again, it works in a very unique sort of way where it almost feels like the drummer, Ken, is just bringing himself out there as hard and fast as he can. And for me, just the sloppiness just adds to the dark, disturbing nature of the music. And that's what I love about this album, is it's such a disturbing sounding record. Another thing that's great about this album is the vocals. They range from these high-pitched, shrill, throaty rasps that just really cut through the mix perfectly. And then actually, this is the only time I can truly appreciate, a pitch shift. And that is when they do pitch shift vocals on this, which are quite awesome. It just another thing that adds to the atmosphere of the music. These gnarly sounding pitch shifted low vocals just add to this dirty, gritty sound that the music is already providing, and then the artwork is adding to once again. So overall, this is definitely a package sort of deal album where you have to experience every part of it. You have to really be in the mindset for it. The artwork sets off the tone for the mood for the rest of the album, and it is amazing. With that being said, there is a lot of repetition in this album. It is very repetitive. A lot of the songs blend into each other. In fact, if you can tell every single track apart from each other, I commend you, because I certainly can't. The opener, Genital Grinder, is actually a very unique sort of groovy thing. It kind of showcases what Carcass will become later, and I really like that a lot. But I mean, there's some great songs on here still, like Splattered Cavities, Burnt to a Crisp, Fester Day, Vomited Anal Tract, Maggot Colony, Rotten to the Gore, Carbonized Eye Sockets. Songs like that are ones that do stand out to me, but overall, this is just an album that blends right in for every single song, and it's kind of tough to listen to. I'm feeling a 7.5 on this album. This is one that I recommend to people that are already into Carcass but never dived into their early material, or I recommend this to people that are fans of death grind or gore grind, as some people call it. I hate the term because it's a genre based on a lyrical theme, but I'm not going to get into all that. Yeah, this is definitely a great album. 7.5. I highly recommend you get the reissues like I have. I have what's called the Pathologist Reports, and when you buy all of them and line them up on your shelf, it forms a picture. It says Carcass, the Pathologist Reports, volumes 1 through 5. And it's a really cool package. As I showed you, the Digipack is huge. You get the Flesh Ripping Sonic Torment demo as bonus tracks, and the Pathologist Reports DVD, which gives a lot of insight behind the album in the early days of Carcass, and it progresses through on each album with the Pathologist Reports. But that's it. Purchase this album if you can find it. It's definitely worth your money. Give it a shot. If you don't like it, then so be it, but I think it's a good album. 7.5 out of 10. Stick around for part 2 of this discography review, which will be of Symphonies of Sickness. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.